I should wait till I get back to make this video, but as usual, can't turn my brain off. I hate this beauty topic. I really do. Because it's not something that's immediately fixable. And when discussing it and trying to discover the truth, all that ends up coming out is, since it's not immediately fixable, it's just a bunch of hurtful shit that gets a lot of people upset. But one thing about it that really irritates the hell out of me is the inconsistency among African American women who file the complaint. Okay, who file the complaints, about colorism, and then I see things that I'm just like, why are you doing this? Why are you co-signing this? Right? And I got to make a correction. I do have another video. I haven't, it was so long that I'm like, let me go back and make sure I didn't say, some dumb shit. But anyway, that whole statement about, light-skinned women are imitating dark-skinned women, that's just not accurate. The fact of the matter is that, the light-skinned women only have one culture. They are culturally African American. And all that attitude and neck rolling and all that shit. Funny thing is, it was pointed out to me today. Now, I haven't seen the movie, but Lisa McDowell, who was the light-skinned woman in Coming America, she's got, stank-ass attitude and wrong orientation in the new Coming America movie. Light-skinned woman. But, in further, breaking all this down and even going back and forth about it, with Captain Solo, they only have one culture. And the problem is that light-skinned women, the culture that they're really imitating is non-black culture. And people give them a pass or assume that that's their culture for two reasons. One, because they don't have the phenotypic look for that culture. And then two, you have women who could stand right next to each other. One grew up in black culture. The other one, who is also light skinned, is half black and half something else, and maybe has a non-black mother, and therefore doesn't have what you would consider black culture. So, she may be acting like the white side of her family or her white mother, or was raised in the white community, and then, tries to emulate in order trying to reach and be in touch with her black feminine side or black female side, starts thinking that, basically being belligerent or having an attitude is how you act as a black woman. Again, remember that woman that I argued with, who was like, I am a black woman. I am a black woman. Remember that one, right? But anyway, it's just, even when we go and look at the men, it doesn't matter how much, a light-skinned man, is culturally identified with the black community as a black man because he was raised in the black community. There's a lot of women who will still look at light-skinned men like they cannot embody, all of the, ideas of hyper-masculinity that surround dark-skinned black men. Even though, you may have a light-skinned dude, he's more savage than a dark-skinned black dude. Or the dark-skinned black dude's not even savage like that. And you end up with situations where light-skinned dudes, they gotta, shave lines into their eyebrows and get a bunch of tattoos. They gotta do a whole bunch of stuff, kill themselves in the gym just to look like what a dark-skinned man automatically gets, or what's automatically assumed about a man that's dark-skinned. That whole Mike Brown situation. He's bigger and stronger, and I just felt like a little child when he grabbed me. Nobody says that about light-skinned dudes. But I'm just saying the whole aspect of imitating a culture. No, if light-skinned women are imitating anything, they're imitating non-black culture, and everybody gives them a pass because since they don't phenotypically look black, people assume that, that's the reason behind why that's their culture. The other thing, and I wish sisters would stop doing it, is all that stupid ass rhetoric, that I should know better, of how much bullshit it is. The stupid ass rhetoric that black women run around with the dark-skinned black women run around with the idea that their identity and who they are and all this stuff is somehow, the essence of black woman that's tied to melanin and tied to looking out their third eye and other Afrocentric nonsense that they know nothing about, because they know nothing about, freaking Africa, but they say all this stuff, melanin content, third eye, original woman status and all that, and they try to connect it to dark skin because they're trying to establish value to dark skin through other means than just, physical beauty, since they don't get that, right? By and large, from the society or the community. Now, moving on to what I wanted to talk about. This whole Gabrielle Union and Michelle Obama and her co-signing Zaya, I kept saying her name wrong or his name wrong, Zaya. I went back and looked at a comment. I had addressed something similar to this a while ago, and somebody had left a comment saying that Gabrielle Union, when it came to colorism with her boys, her two stepsons. So there's Zaire, there's I forget what the other boy's name. It's another Z name, and then there's Davon or Davian, which is their nephew, right? And so y'all can read the articles. It's on my community tab. BET did it, covered it. Ebony covered it. And so she gave a lecture to her boys about, because she asked them if she could see the, what girls they liked on Instagram that were, the fellow students and whatnot. And just like LeBron James' son, it was nothing but a bunch of light-skinned exoticals. And so she took issue with that and decided to give them a lecture. And right in the piece, she said, I wanted to know what's wrong with their brains and Xing out black women and all this stuff. And I'm like, you already know the cancel culture that would be unfolded if Gabrielle Union came out and questioned what was going on in Zaya's mind. Right? You already know, there's something wrong with her mind because there's something wrong with body dysmorphia. There's something wrong with, being male, biologically male and attracted to other males. Oh, it would be a fucking shitstorm. And I'm telling you, like for the purposes of philosophical consistency, and this is what I do not understand about a lot of sisters out here. You all will go to war for LGBT. You will go to war for that shit. But let your little black boy say that he prefers a white woman or a light-skinned woman and all that shit, and then we got to talk about deep-seated hatred and all this problem and conditioning, and we got to talk about all that. And why doesn't he recognize the beauty of black women? Da 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 da. Right? And y'all want to break that down. The boy needs a psychological examination because he dare like fair skin. And again, I'm not invalidating all of the reasons, the fact that black people have been conquered, white supremacy, media promotion. I'm not invalidating any of that. Okay? But I'm saying the way that the women will sit there and have such a problem with that. But then when it comes to some boy that wants to transition into a woman, y'all not only do you embrace it, you encourage it. Oh, the boy needs some praise. Oh, he's so brave. Oh, this is a beautiful thing, and you're inspiring others. Inspiring who? What? Other boys to basically be transgender or gay? Is that what y'all are saying? And see, this falls right into what I already know it is. Black women, y'all love to co-sign anything that looks like, somebody's breaking the mold. And maybe you look at it from the standpoint, oh, he wants to be a girl, so that's not a threat. So, he's breaking the mold. Right? This is a wonderful thing. Yes, smash traditionalism, smash gender roles. Yes, this is what we want, because we're on some feminist shit anyway. We're on some matriarchal gynocracy shit anyway. So we're going to co-sign this. Right? But then when it comes to, the boy being interested in, God forbid, a non-black woman, and y'all lose y'all shit. I mean, like I said in my comment, is Zaya going to get the same conversation if he decides that he wants to be with a white man? Is Gabrielle Union going to sit there and say, well, there's some beautiful black men out there? And is she going to have that conversation? I mean, looking at it, it's just, it's nuts. It's insanity. And even with Michelle Obama, you know what I mean? Like Barack Obama went through hell with the white folks that were jumping up and down. Oh, Barack Obama's a Muslim. He's not a Christian, right? All that shit. We already know what the Bible says about homosexuality and all that shit. Not that I agree with that and all that magical sorcery and wizardry and all that stuff. But I'm saying this is what the Bible says. You say that you're a follower of the Bible, okay? You're married to a man that had to defend his Christianity. And yet Michelle Obama gets up there, oh, this is a wonderful and beautiful thing and all this other stuff, which obviously D. Wade and Gabrielle Union also freaking co-sign. But then when it comes to the black boys that you're raising, we got to have a conversation about too many light brights being on your Instagram and you thinking that they're attractive. Then reading the BET article and the Ebony article, I'm sitting there and I'm looking at it, right? And guess who the woman was that Gabrielle Union used as the counter to those light brights that those boys found attractive? Guess who? Ryan Destiny. And as I covered Ryan Destiny before in my video talking about apple juice with a splash of pineapple, Ryan Destiny's mother is from the expanded light skin universe, which further reinforces a theory that, we've been discussing behind the scenes about the issue not even being colorism, not even specifically being featureism or hair texturism and any of that, but actually being the fact that you have both black men and black women that are looking for a diversity in black women that doesn't actually exist. I mean, if you really look at it and you look at most sisters, and I mean, there has been, even fucked up statements made. Statements like, if I've been with one dark-skinned woman, I've pretty much been with them all. Right? And I'm saying I've been with dark-skinned women. And I hear that, and to a degree, it resonates with me. If I get with Lupita, right? Lupita is the quintessential dark-skinned woman. If I get with Lupita, and then I get with Lupita's cousin, is there a big difference there? But see, the thing is if you have, let's say, men going around looking for diversity that doesn't truly exist in the black community, and then you have men who are running around measuring black women by a yardstick of beauty that, again, doesn't exist in the black community, looking for a diversity that doesn't exist in the black community, that's going to be a problem. And what I notice is even when black women, like what Gabrielle Union just did, Ryan Destiny, maybe y'all don't see it because you get caught up in the cloak of her dark skin. But the reality is she doesn't have 4C hair. The combination of Ryan Destiny's features, the fact that she doesn't have 4C hair, the fact that her mother is a light bright, even though y'all, it's subtle. It's so subtle. If you look at her face, okay, she doesn't look like Lupita Nyong'o. She doesn't. She's brown. She's brown skinned. That is what she is. But that subtlety in combinations, that so-called softness that people want to talk about, or that so-called watering down, Ryan Destiny embodies that. But y'all don't catch it. Just like you didn't catch it with Chili from TLC. Just like you didn't catch it with what's her name? Kim Porter, P. Diddy's ex-wife. Just like you didn't catch it with her. These black people that I tell you where black people really don't catch it. A lot of the Douglas group. Those, the people that like from Trinidad and Tobago and stuff like that, y'all don't even catch it with Nicki Minaj. Non-African American. And what you will find is you'll find Indian in their background and Taino, when I say Indian, like East Indian in their background, or Taino, Native American in their background, like Taino Indian, like the original, like the Arawak people and whatnot that were originally in the Caribbean before Columbus came and gave them all, syphilis and smallpox. Syphilis actually went in the other direction from Native Americans to Europeans. They brought that shit. So it's like, yeah, fair exchange. But anyway, the jury is still out on this whole conversation, but it doesn't look good with that whole looking for diversity that's not actually there. And that's why, many of these men are jumping up and down about these women when they're in the expanded light skin universe looking for a woman that looks like Ryan Destiny's mom. It's like that's what they're seeking out, which is not something that, black women can meet, and that's a whole different conversation that we got to examine. But man, do I ever cringe when I see black women doing it? When black women come through and they're like, oh, we want you to find some black woman, attractive, and it's not a chick with 4C hair. It's not, and then you get the women that go, with the extreme, like, yes, I'm in agreement with you. There's a lot of aspects of beauty that are very Eurocentric, that are forced upon us and thrust upon us by mainstream media and the white media and white supremacy and white social domination, right? There's many aspects of that. And I understand people who want to move the lever, kind of like away from Eurocentricity and kind of either back to center or back towards a more African-oriented standard of beauty, which, again, we don't even know what that is. We haven't defined it. We have an inability to define it. And then there's like too much self-hate for people to actually define it, because every time they present an attractive black woman coming from either black women or black men, it's always this watered down black woman. The black woman that's got that East African, look, that black woman that looks like, what's her name? Ali Arkan or something like that. She's like this East African model and shit. They kind of sneak in with that and like, well, she's dark skinned. And I'm like, come on, man. I see that Arab nose and I see that straight, long black hair that she got from being on the eastern coast of Africa. Come on, get real. Well, Lupita's from East Africa. They can start coming with the dumb shit. I'm like, get real. It's just, I see people doing it. And they don't even catch themselves doing it. Ryan Destiny, I've continuously said Ryan Destiny is not a good example. And then you get the other women that just try to crank the lever and slam it all the way in the other direction and just come with all these extremes, come with 300, 400 pound women trying to make Gabourey Sidibe attractive, trying to make Leslie Jones attractive, trying to make Whoopi Goldberg attractive, even when Whoopi Goldberg was young and in her prime, trying to make that attractive. And say that if you don't like that, oh, it's because of colorism and Eurocentricity and all this other stuff, when there are far better looking women than the type of women that people will try to present. You know what I'm saying? Freaking Lupita Nyong'o versus Leslie Jones in her prime. Lupita Nyong'o wins all day. But yet, like, there is this problem, and both men and women do it, where there's either the presenting of exceptional black women who are basically watered down black women, and they try to sneak them through the door, or there's the presentation of obviously unattractive black women that people are trying to force through the door. And it's just nuts. It's nuts. And then you never get to a real gauge of what is what. You never get a real gauge of, okay, is this colorism, or is this, something else, or is this chick just presenting an unattractive, woman, or is this guy trying to dodge the fact that he doesn't even like the exceptional one, so he presents an obviously unattractive woman to try to say, you want me to like that over there? Huh, look how terrible it is. It's like, damn, you could grab a better looking woman, than that. And again, these are, back and forth conversations that, Captain Solo and myself have been having, trying to break this shit down. You know what I mean? But, again, culturally speaking, getting back on track of this damn video, culturally speaking and whatnot, I do not understand this whole idea. Like, when y'all say that y'all want justice and fairness and all this other crap, right? And y'all jump up and you spew all this stuff, and people should be able to do whatever they want to do. Again, if you're going to sit there, I mean, it's just, it's like, I don't know how y'all don't see the problem with this. Y'all will go out there and you will war for this. A boy should be, if he wants to be a woman, he should be able to do whatever he wants to do. He wants to be gay, we support that. And I know what it is tied to. It's tied to the idea that you don't want women to be assigned a role. They get to do whatever they want to do. Boys, you have to, not only be patriarchal or be traditional, even though we don't believe in traditionalism or traditional roles, but you also, have to go out here and you must find, black women, attractive and the women that we define and we set up for you to be attractive, and it's like, and I'm saying, I get the aspect of colorism. I'm just being an asshole about it to drive the point home. It's like, if you're going to sit there and I mean, really push this shit. I mean, Zaya is deserving of praise. And then let some black boy out here say, I prefer light skins. Oh my God. It's like the black female social media will just explode. The gossip will explode. The freaking Clutch Mag online, I don't even know if they're still on, will explode. Lipstick Alley will explode. The YouTube channels, they'll just explode. Oh, ladies, let's talk about it. You know what I mean? And honestly, y'all look like some serious masochists sometimes. You know what I mean? When you look at all the social media and everything else, it's like, because I had somebody who was bringing that point up, talking about, just because we were arguing about the back and forth about, the promotion and, the black men that are with black women and the men, they were disagreeing with me. They were like, nah. They were like, even if you present the high value, high profile black men that are with black women, like, they don't want to see that. They don't want to see that. And again, like, I have, like, I can't deny the fact that even I have an example of that. Going out, being with a dark-skinned black woman, and other sisters are, like, snubbing their nose. And I'm like, for real? All the complaints that get made, and they snubbing their nose. Because, again, me doing that, me being with a dark-skinned woman, challenges they can't scream colorism anymore. Now it's like, no, the chick I'm with, who just so happens to be dark-skinned, is better looking than you. And see, there's a whole group of dark-skinned black women that they don't want to, they love the colorism argument, but they don't want to hear that shit. So you have women that they feed into that shit. Then you have the media sites that further feed into the shit. Just like I said with the mainstream media sites and all the shit that they do and all the stuff that they try to trigger white people and try to get let's talk about black people and reparations and say black lives matter demands reparations at the point of gunpoint. Just to get white people to fucking rah and just go in the comment section and go crazy. Okay? They just go in there and go crazy. And I'm saying, with a lot of these sites, with the colorism, and every time a black man said, and they jump up and down and everything else, it's to get likes, it's to get clicks, it's to get views, it's to get money. Because at the end of the day, when people get triggered, people watch, people click, people like, people want to engage, people want to give because especially with women are what? Emotionally driven. So if you focus on something that they're emotional about or something that triggers them, they're just going to focus on it. But it just gets to a point sometimes where it's just like, okay, y'all are just consumed with negativity. You're just consumed with it. Just the same thing. Colorism. Every fucking day. Damn. And it's just like, and then again, talking about, these sort of ideas of walking through the problem, you slowly discover that there's no consistency. It's like, okay, so it's like, I wish we could compartmentalize the shit and say, okay, this colorism, this cultural shit. Just say this is what colorism is. Let's examine this, and then this over here is some cultural shit. But then it like ends up overlapping where like the cultural shit rolls into like the colorism and all that stuff. Again, if Zaya gets with a white man, Gabrielle Union ain't gonna have the same conversation. Not gonna have the same conversation. And then again, the cultural shit, all this stuff about individual freedom, because women are co-signing other people doing whatever they want to do. I told you why the feminists in the LGBT community or the gays form Voltron, because both of them are on some smash the patriarchy shit. Because patriarchy judges, patriarchy sets standards, patriarchy says, that a woman, can't be morbidly obese and she has to look good if she wants to secure a man and have a man take care of her and provide for her. You know what I mean? And then you get the women that come with all these entitlement arguments. Well, I feel I deserve. So what if I got 3 kids by 4 other niggas? A man should want me and I'm a catch and I'm this and I'm that. And so what if I'm overweight and all this other stuff? You know what I mean? And then they'll try to blend that with, I forget what the expression is. There's a term, it's a tactic that people use online where it's like you'll mix some valid shit with the bullshit that you're trying to prove. That way you get the group of people to be like, that's right, cosign, and then you slip in your bullshit. And because the bullshit you're slipping in is in that sandwich of truths, most of the time people aren't going to catch it. And it's just like, it's so frustrating to sit here and watch this and listen to this. And then again, 5 minutes later, again, when we go back to the cultural stuff, then people are complaining, boo-hoo, woe was us, the community's broken, oh, there's no structure, people don't want to play their roles, and you men need to do this and that, and da-da-da-da-da. But over here, we're going to advocate for people doing whatever they want to do, and we're going to go out here and encourage boys to be homosexuals and LGBT and transgender, and that's what we're going to do. Huh? What? Wait, what? How did we get all the way over here? How did we get all the way over here? And it's like the goal is to make black men this big bad wolf. Oh, they're so evil, and oh, they're so colorist, and this, that, and the third. Meanwhile, in the background of the cultural shit, you have this co-signing of things that most certainly have nothing to do with traditionalism and marriage and everything else. These women don't want to get married because they want to play a traditional role. They want to get married because it validates them. They want to just say that they're married. They want a nigga to drop, $10,000, $15,000 on a fucking ring or more. And then whenever they feel like it, divorce is half, and talk about taking half, and talk about what they're entitled to, and the chores that they did around the house and everything. And that's right, I'm entitled to half of your money, nigga, and I'm taking the house and the kids and the custody and all this other shit. And then it's like, okay, well, what's your response to all of that shit that men have grievances about? Colorism. So you just gonna wipe the slate clean with colorism. You're just gonna come in the room and say, oh, it's colorism. That's what it is. Although I do agree that if a man is not attracted to a woman, then none of the other stuff matters. I've had to check men about that shit. I'm like, well, if you're not attracted to her, truth be told, her attitude and her belligerence and everything else don't fucking matter, because you're not going to be dealing with the broad anyway. So it's like you got both sides that come with a degree of bullshit. I'm like, y'all need to stop that shit. But there is definitely a concerted effort on the part of women to make it, oh, we're just these victims, and we're just sitting here, and the evil black man just comes in the room and like the big bad wolf just huffs and puffs and blows our house down, and we were just minding our business. I'm like, bullshit. Bullshit. Like, this is so loaded. This is so loaded. And then again, we're a broken and confused people. And then you have, one side or the other trying to act like they're perfectly whole and they have the answers on if the other side would just do X, Y, and Z, then everything would be fine. But see, they're fucked up. That's bullshit. It's bullshit. And again, people want to sit there and they want to try to act like, it's this two-way street and it's perfectly equal. No, women are given the platforms. You all are emotional. You all have the buying power, right? You go out here and you consume, this stuff. You spend your money. You see? You know what I'm saying? I haven't seen the type of shit that goes on with black men that I've seen go on with women. All this stuff about we spend our money on you and what you're saying is not truthful and this, that, and the third, right? Because women are spending their money. The men, on the other hand, and I'm not saying that that's something to be proud of, but the men, us spending money and stuff like that. Yeah, Kevin Samuels gets, he gets his change, and whatnot. But I'm saying, we don't really have that sort of investment like that. But the women, they get so emotionally invested in shit, and then they feel like they own you, which is exactly the irony, the thing that black men say about black women. They're like, nah, man, these chicks trying to fucking control you. The only problem, and I'm gonna say this for shout out to Captain Solo, the only problem is if you don't want to be fucking controlled like that, then you ain't got no business accepting any of this shit from these women. Because that is what they're trying to do. You see? As Cap points out about many of the women in his family, they try to control the men by controlling the resources. Never forget that. So, as much as the men complain about it, I'm like, well, I don't know why you accepted that bullshit. All them back rubs and sandwiches and blowjobs and I support you and everything else, because that IOU is coming, or that aspect of control is coming. But I got so many different thoughts in my head about all of this shit, and trying to, connect it all and connect the dots and all that stuff. Okay? Yeah, we got a problem with mainstream media, what's promoted, the expanded light skin universe, and how the culture has shifted. Accessibility, that's another big one, because now, black women, it's like they really got to compete with all these other races of women, because, there's all this accessibility with Instagram and sliding in DMs and all that shit. You know what I mean? So that really changes the landscape. And as I said before, I'm like, everybody's doing self-advertising now. All these women on IG, all these light brights and everything. Oh, I got to go to the gym and get my body right, get everything tight and everything else, and then put filters on it and post it up. Yeah, that's bait for dudes. You know what I mean? And that is the environment in which, we live. So all this waiting on mainstream media to promote black women and all that other stuff, I'm like, y'all need to get your Instagrams up. Y'all need to take some of the best photos, whether you gotta Photoshop that bitch or whether you gotta go and get the shit professionally done. Because I'm just saying, that's what's going on out here. You got 80% of women who only want to deal with 20% of dudes. You got a collapsing economy, so you got even a smaller number of dudes that know that they have, access to an insane number of women in the sexual marketplace, so they don't have to settle down. They don't have to choose average. You can talk all the average black woman shit that you want. They don't have to go for average. You know what I mean? The way that you see all these women looking for a man. You know what I'm saying? Again, women determine who gets sex. Women do not determine who gets married. Men determine that. And there's a lot of women, like, this goes back to the whole co-signing, Zaya and all this shit, and she's doing whatever she wants to do and all that bullshit. Okay? Because the women want to be able to do whatever they want to do. The problem is they can't get black men to cooperate with the matriarchy or cooperate with the gynocracy. They can't get them to cooperate. And the only way that they're trying to get them to cooperate is through shame. Shame on you. It's colorism. Shame on you. You know, the black man doesn't value the black woman. Shame on you. You know, and again, I'm not saying that there aren't significant elements of truth in those statements. But that doesn't hide the fact that you have so many women out here that are on complete bullshit and don't want to cooperate with a goddamn thing a man's got going on, even if he's in the proper position. They just want to get close enough to get married, get the ring, get the baby, then divorce, get the child support, and then run around with his resources and his money claiming that she's an independent woman. And men are saying no to that shit. And they're going out here and looking for women that have a different cultural orientation. And unfortunately, the reality is many of those women, as we can see, there's only essentially two black groups in the world: South Indians, or Southeast Asians, if you want to talk about Melanesians and shit like that, and black women. That's it. So any group outside of choosing a black woman is going to be lighter skinned. So by default, it's going to end up being colorism, even when it's not, when in reality it's something like culturalism. But see, yeah, I just coined that word. Nobody talks about culturalism. But again, the shaming language, that's why I said in the last video, that shit about, color, you're colorist phobic. You're exotical phobic. That would be the equivalent if men turn around and try to use sort of counter shaming language in a nonsensical sense. It's like we got the cultural problems, and then we got the beauty standard problems and the promotion and all that shit, and they're like on top of each other, and they overlapped, and they cross like your fingers and shit like that, like and you can't compartmentalize them and separate. They need to be compartmentalized, but the way that colorism has been weaponized, and the way that all the attacks on manhood has been being masculine is toxic. Being patriarchal is toxic. Being traditional is toxic. All these things are toxic. But yet everybody wants, especially the way they want the benefits of those structures. And it's like sometimes. A black man rejecting a black woman, by all means, it looks like colorism. But sometimes it's not colorism. It's just, freaking, culturism, if you want to call it that. But I'm not going to sit here and deny and say that, that the promotion of black women, isn't at a severe deficit. I'm not going to sit here and say that the expansion of the light-skinned universe hasn't significantly contributed to, essentially what you would consider a planetary freaking polar shift. All of this is going on. And I don't see any real solution in sight. You know what I mean? Black women suddenly being submissive isn't going to change the colorism that does exist. And black men suddenly only having eyes for black women isn't going to make black women, fall in line and get with the program and become traditional and get rid of all of their wrong orientation. So I don't have a solution for y'all. I don't. It's like, okay, what is this? But to sit there and say every time a woman files a complaint, that it's her culture, it's her orientation, it's her behavior, that's bullshit. But to say every time a black man has a complaint that it's just colorism and he's not choosing black women because of color, that's bullshit. But since nobody wants to be truly honest about the shit, or you get the people that always want to come and say, no, it has to be balanced, it has to be balanced and shit, even when it's not balanced. Even if you have a long string of situations where, you know, a black women just look bad, like what you see with, you know, the Kevin Samuel show, where women have, you know, are coming there with kids, where are the childless women calling it, hey, I'm looking for a high value man? Why is it there's a disproportionate number of women with children who are past their prime calling in the Kevin show talking about they're looking for high value men? Because if anything, it reinforces the fact that many black women, when they're in their prime, are not actually looking for high value men. They're not looking to settle down. They're having their fun. They're running around getting dick down. And then when they have a baby, or then when they're like damn near 40 and they're like, oh, I need to get married, you know, then they say, oh, well, I'm looking for a high value man, when they're at their lowest point of sexual market value, or in the declining slope of their sexual market value. So y'all file some complaints and shit, and I'm just like, okay, but, you know, this is what's going on. And, you know, you want to say, you know, again, there's times where, you know, the pendulum is heavily swung in the direction of black men where they're fucking up. But there's also times where the pendulum is swung in the direction of women and they're fucking up. It's not always everything is every complaint is counterbalanced at all times. And I get frustrated with people who try to act like that. They try to act like a file is complaining. Like, well, let me tell you about my counter complaint. And it's like, your counter complaint is valid, but your counter complaint does not apply right here and right now. You know, and so you never get anywhere, because, you know, you got these people that are so concerned about everything not being, you know, one party's fault and all that other shit. But anyway, you know, I'm done. I hope y'all could follow that and how this shit is all interwoven and interconnected, and there's multiple layers to the shit, you know, and how people, you know, they're trying to weaponize, you know, the fact that a valid point is made, and then they're trying to like literally rest their hat on that, or rest the case, you know, Your Honor, I have no further questions. Like, get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? Your Honor, I have no further questions. Get the fuck out of here. Your case was not that solid. But anyway, I'm done. You know, the hypocrisy is irritating. That's all I got to say. That's my video. SWP out.